AI is a tool, but you need your craftsmanship. You need your expertise first. But kids above 10 years old, I think they will be all right to see the superpower.
Welcome to New Kid. In this episode, you'll meet with Lydia and Kevon. They live in Hong Kong with their two daughters, aged 5 and 3. Lydia teaches English and math in a tuition academy and is obsessed with finding ways to cultivate interest in learning, exploring ways to learn by playing, and applying that to her own children as well. Kevon coaches teenagers, 12 to 18 years old, to get started and keep going with their creative projects. He loves to tinker with AI tools and building his own too. Together, we talk about the creative learning versus the school system learning. We talk about children meltdown. We talk about homeschooling in a country like Hong Kong, about homework and the pressure to perform. We talk about what makes a good parenting partner. We talk about Alpha School, where teachers no longer teach. We talk about using AI to enhance learning, not to replace it. We talk about broader themes as well, like knowing what you love and pursue it, and nurturing toughness and resilience. Beyond their contagious energy lies the eagerness to explore, playing their part to upgrade and update education with a capital E, and to share it as well with other parents. Enjoy this episode. If you like it, share it. Share it with a parent who needs a shot of can-do mindset. And of course, make sure to subscribe to New Kid on your favorite listening platform. I wish you all a very joyful end of the year. And bisous. Welcome, Lydia. Welcome, Kevon, on this new episode of New Kid. Kevon, I met you on Substack. I think you were interacted with Franco's post, and I saw you were a dad of two exploring at the intersection of education and AI. And so I was like, okay, we have too much in common. We have to meet. And I loved your vibe. You were very outgoing and very curious person. So I was really interested to have you and your wife on the podcast. I understood from our first discussion that you two have been helping people learn, adults and kids, for a while through your professional journeys. So I would love to hear about this and about all this applied to now you two raising your daughters. So Kevon, you built Public Lab, a platform and a community to help entrepreneurs and creators to build their audience, right? By building in public. You also wrote a book, Find Joy in Chaos, which is basically helping people leverage on Twitter to build their audience. Is it?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't read the book yet. I'm really not a Twitter person. I tried many times and I couldn't, I don't know, it was not my network. But anyways, so Lydia, Kevon told me you're a math tutor, a math teacher.
Yeah.
You work at Resolute Education Center, is it? Okay.
Yes, that's right.
From what I understood, it's a private center for learning, like on top of school. Can you tell me? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a tuition center. I work sometime during the week. I work there, and then I would teach group class to a bunch of school kids, local school kids, and then I would educate them on like math concepts and help them with their exams and stuff like that. But apart from Resolute, I also take in private students. I would guide them one-on-one. It's either English or maths, and they don't have to be from a local school. Most of them, actually, my private students are from international schools.
Oh, interesting. All right. And turns out you two have two daughters together. Remind me, I think they're 4 and 2, but maybe I'm wrong. They grow up since. So
they
how old
are.
are they?
They're 4.5 and 2.5.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
And what's funny is that you're building a tool together, Funsheets, which you quickly mentioned during our first call, Kevon. It's kind of a worksheet generator to help children learn math, Chinese, and English. Right?
That's right.
Is it? Kids like 2 to 6, like basically our kids' age. Yeah. And I love the story. Basically, you told me that, Lydia, you started doing this manually for your little girls or even for your students, maybe?
It was mainly for Avery, my elder
Okay.
daughter, because I was trying to get her to do more academic learning outside of school. Because at the moment, I think the school progress is a bit slow, and I think she can actually take in more. But I think it's a little bit difficult to get her to be actually interested in academic learning. So I had to use something to kind of encourage her to do so. So I thought, okay, maybe use something that she really likes. Like she likes to eat a lot. So I thought, okay, I would design worksheets based on one theme, one food item for each worksheet, and then math, Chinese, and English all on one single sheet. And then to get her just to do 10 or 15 minutes of learning every day.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And so, Kevon, you took that very interesting project, from Lydia, and you turned it into an actual product that people can actually download online. They can customize the worksheet based on their child's preference and age and name, and make a personalized exercise, right? So what's behind this? What are you expecting to do? Is it just a fun project, or what do you want to do with this?
I was thinking, basically Avery loves food, so Lydia has been making these all food themed worksheet. But what about other kids? Maybe a boy would like trains or policemen or firefighters. So our worksheet might not be that useful to the other kids. So since I know coding and now I can code with AI fairly quickly, I was thinking maybe do a fun project and just turn her idea into something that everyone can use. So it started that way, but then I ended up spending a lot of time, I'm very picky about design. If you go to funsheets.co,
Yeah, I've been there.
I've spent some time making the landing page.
Yeah.
So it ended up turning into like a 4-week project. But then a lot of parents are using it and then having fun with their kids. So I think it's just a fun project. I don't think it will be like a huge ag tech product. But I just need something to start with. Yeah.
I have 2 questions regarding this project. First one, for a kid who doesn't speak Chinese, like my kids, for example, how much does a kid need to understand Chinese, math, and English to actually start playing with your worksheet?
I would think, of course, you can skip the Chinese words, but then is a big part. It's 33% of the worksheet.
Yeah.
So it would be a little weird to use this worksheet if you're going to skip. So I think, we mainly want to cater to people who really need those Chinese words. Because if you put in the word fire, we actually use the Chinese word to give you related word with that Chinese character fire. And then we do English second. So Chinese is actually a first step of the product design. Yeah.
So what type of AI did you use to build this project? Like, what are you relying on?
I think I was using OpenAI ChatGPT. I was using them to kind of, hey, give me related words to this Chinese character or this English word. And then now the kid is like 5 years old. Can you give me 3 English sentences? But the math is actually really hard because
Tell me about that.
It's not just text. Like Chinese and English is just text. AI brings it back to me. I just need to display it. But the math, you don't want to display 3 plus 3. To a kid, that means nothing. So like Lydia, she's really, what's the word? She loves to use text math problems to illustrate that math problem. So instead of 3 plus 3, she really wants to use like, hey, Avery, you have 3 candies, but mommy is giving you 3 more. So how many candies do you have now? So translating that into a math and then adding pictures, that is taking me a lot of time.
I think that another thing that was taking a lot of time for the math is that which math concept is suitable for which age group is also a very big topic. And also because most kids have different progress, right? Some kids probably are very good at math and they already know how to do 2 digits plus 2 digits, or some of them can't even count to 10. So how do you cater to all of these things? That was a challenge that we were facing as well.
Especially during this age group, math progress can go very quickly.
Yeah.
And you have very advanced kids who are very young, and at the same time, like, it's not yet a big deal for bigger kids age 6 not to know exactly how to count. So the way you're doing this right now is you're asking the kids a small age group, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So it was a very long introduction. I really wanted to, straight away jump into all the very interesting projects that you're working on. Do you mind introducing one another? So, Kevon, would you mind starting introducing Lydia, telling me who she is, like, quite shortly?
She is my beautiful wife. A bit about us. We actually, yesterday was our 6-year anniversary getting married.
Congrats.
So
Thank you.
we've known each other for 8 years, 6 years married, and then we have 2 kids. Do you want to know about her personality?
Yeah, I would like you, Kevon, to tell me about Lydia's personality, Lydia as a mom, you know.
Sure.
Introduce me, Lydia.
Yeah. Other than being very beautiful, right? She's very
Of course.
organized, very thoughtful, a people person. Like, she's able to handle our whole family, including the grandparents, the kids, like every single player in the family. She can handle them really well. So then I have a very easy job. And she can read people's mind very well. So she knows how to cater to everyone's personality, temper, behavior. But I need to bring up that she's also a very good mom. Like, I feel like her dream job is being a mom other than being an educator.
Maybe.
Like, of course, she doesn't want to be a full-time mom. She likes to have her own career. That's why she still teaches kids. But if you just look at her daily schedule, right? She's pouring her heart and time and effort into the kids from day to night. Other than talking about how they learn, she takes care of basic needs, but also the school stuff, and also activities, logistics, everything. And I think sometimes some parents, they're obligated to do it because you're a parent, you have to do it, right? But I can tell she is really connected to this mother role. So that's why she's doing such a great job. And to be fair, a lot of mothers come to her and ask for feedback or advice or tips. So yeah, that's who she is.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
Are you very happy now?
I'm very happy. She's making me a very happy wife. But
Lydia, would you like to add anything to what Kevon just said about yourself?
yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, I really enjoy being a mother, but I also think I cannot be a full-time mom. Like, I admire people who actually give up 100% of their career to be taking care of the kids. I mean, to me, being a half-time mom, that's what I call myself, it really helps with my well-being as well. Like, it gives me a little bit of satisfaction that I'm earning a bit of money. I'm taking care of my kids a lot, but I still get to get out there and see what the world is doing right now and see other people's kids, educating them, doing some changes in this world that I hope. Yeah, so I really enjoy
Makes
that.
sense. I really feel you. Okay, thank you very much for this intro. Lydia, now your turn to introduce Kevon if you'd like to do that.
Okay. So my husband, I think, is a very loving husband and father. I think he's been trying really hard and doing very well for these 2 roles. If you look at his schedule, like most of the days, he only focuses on 3 things: work, managing our family's investment, and then spending time with us. So I think he's very to like really build a very good bonding inside the family. He also, we never really argue, or we don't really yell at each other and stuff. And I think he contributes a lot to this because whenever I bring out something that may be a little bit negative about what he did or something that I'm not happy about, he's never very defensive. Like some people might be like, I didn't do this, you know, I didn't want that. I don't know, just some people might be very defensive, but he's never that. He would actually reflect and he would try to make changes, and he would be like, oh, I understand why you feel that, and I'm sorry. And so we never really have a big argument, and it just all goes away. So I think that's a very good personality of my husband. And I think he's trying to build a very good, how do I say that? He's trying very hard to build like good education technology product, and he's thinking about how to integrate AI into education. He's thinking a lot about that. So I think that's very useful for our kids, and for kids in the future. I hope he can build more.
I feel like this is like a wedding video or something.
Yeah.
And now, all right.
One another.
What a wonderful couple. Kevon, would you like to add anything to what Lydia just said?
I think I just love to follow my heart and pursue what I'm curious about. I think, of course, I'm in a lucky position to be able to do that. I know that. But that's exactly what we want our daughters to have as well. So just constantly thinking how we can pave that path and security or safety net for them to also explore what they enjoy. So yeah, I hope that I can be a role model to them.
Okay. It might be different from what it was a few weeks ago or a few months ago, but like, what is currently top of mind as you're raising your two daughters?
This is really top of my head. We're facing this challenge like every day now, is to how to deal with the kids' meltdown and their big emotion moments. I think especially our younger daughter, she's 2.5 now, right? So I don't know if she's going through like horrible two kind of phase, or is it just really her personality? She's very stubborn, and she's obviously at her age, she's not very logical. And so a little thing that's not what she wants, and she would get into this huge meltdown, and she will not listen to you, not listen to any listening, and she'll just cry and cry and cry. And myself, I'm a very logical person. I'm not very emotional. So it's very difficult for me to connect to that Audrey. So that's like the top of my mind kind of big question right now, how to deal with this situation.
What are you doing to get some help or try to resolve that challenge?
I did like try to read like a book about this. Yeah, it did give me some guidelines, say like, you cannot try to talk any sense into her at that moment, because she would not listen, and you would have to connect to her emotionally, and you would have to hug her and soothe her first. But sometimes it's really difficult when you're hearing all the whining voice and crying.
I know.
It's like
again, exactly. Again, I feel you. I read a book that I found very like this summer. I don't know which book was yours. What book was it?
It's called A Big Brain Kid or something.
The Whole Brain Child?
Well, The Whole Brain Child, yes. That's
okay,
right.
so we read the same book. I read the same book this summer.
I'm like 20-30% into it.
Okay, so I really enjoyed it. And then there's like reading the book, and then there's like the real situation, and you're like, what does the book say again? Like, it's not working for my kid right now. But I feel you. I have the same type of challenges with our younger one as well, which is sometimes tough to resonate when he's in a crisis like this. And even the connect to then talk about the problem, but connect first, even that doesn't really, I don't know, it doesn't really work. Okay, well, so we could talk about the book when you're done. I'm happy to hear what's been working or not with your daughter. Kevon, would you say the same?
I was gonna talk about like the learning and the school stuff, but since you brought up Audrey, I find it really difficult to balance scolding her and disciplining her. Like, for example, I tell people I'm not a gentle parent. In a way, I'm not like just being gentle about everything. Like, oh, you're being fussy, sure, you'll calm down. I believe parents need to have discipline and set the lines, a boundary that the kids really know, so they know what's right or wrong. So when I display that kind of line in front of Avery, the elder daughter, she's like, oh, I get it, Dad. You're angry. I get it. So then we can communicate and talk it out, and then we'll hug, and then I would go back to that loving dad. But again, with Audrey, the younger one, 2.5, I just want her to understand my line, but she would just walk away. She would not listen to me at all. So to me, the challenging part that I need to probably read up on this is, do I push it? Do I push it to show that my line is there and scold her more and do something to get her fear up? Or should I give up? But I don't want to give up, because to me, when I give up, then she knows wow, okay, if I'm like this, if I just walk around and not listen to you, then you would just leave this? Okay, I'm going to do it again. I don't want that to happen. So to me, I'm also a father figure. So every time after I inject this kind of discipline, she doesn't want me. She's like, I love everyone but daddy. So like that is
Yes.
hurtful.
No, but I think all kids do that. Like at that moment, she remembers that you just yelled at her and you punished her. So at that moment, she would say, "No, daddy, no, daddy." But then after a night's sleep, like the next morning, she would forget about it and she would run back into your arms. I do that too. I yell at her sometimes, and then I would feel guilty at that moment. But then afterwards, she's okay. She would hug me again. Yeah.
Yeah, but the key is we don't know how to handle her right
Yeah.
now.
It's a big challenge.
Yeah, it's challenging. I feel that there are months when you feel it's getting better and you're like, okay, we're done with those kind of behavior, and then it's back again and you're like, what happened? But I feel that with my children too. Where do we put the limit? How strict should we be? How strict is the boundary as well? You know, like, is it flexible? For example, like leaving the table without us being all done with dinner, asking a 4-year-old to stay at home,
exactly what happened
to stay on the
That's
table.
exactly what we were talking about.
Really?
Yeah.
And so we actually, or just eat. Okay, let's take that example. I could be very rigid on, like, we're having dinner together, you stay here. And at the same time, do I, like, if he's done, you know, and we told him, we were like, if you're done, but you're done, you're not coming back for anything afterwards, no dessert, nothing, like you're done, then you can leave the table, but otherwise stay with us because we're not done yet, and you know, like, we're sharing this moment, etc. And he would just leave the table, say, no, I'm done. I leave the table. And then when dessert come, he's like, can I have? And you're like, no, you said you didn't, you know. And the hardest part for us is to enforce what we just said.
Yeah.
Because sometimes this would create a meltdown to say, no, we told you. And you'd rather say, yeah, sure, okay, you know, whatever. But then, you know, you create an unhealthy habit where you're not enforcing what you just said. That's probably one of my challenges as well. But anyways, we're not talking about my challenges. I wanted to hear about your story.
No, a very good topic. I mean, it just happened because we kept saying, like, if you do this, we're going to do this. And then I think what we need is a very strong teammate to back you up, because my husband actually just now, she was like, are we actually like locking her in the room for a while? Are we actually doing that? I said, no, but you said it, right? So you have to do it. If she's not following your rules, you have to do it, or else next time she's just going to bully you again, and she'll just do the same thing to you. So I think, sometimes you really need a teammate, like your husband, your another half, to push you to do it.
Yeah, to push you to do it. That's true. I think it's very important to commit to what you just said. And it was actually a friend of mine staying us for a week who made me realize that I was throwing a lot of, not threats, but like, you know, like, if you do that, then we won't be going to your friends, or we won't have this and that. But things that I would never enforce. And I knew it, you know, like, of course we will not, you know, like, if a friend's coming over for the weekend, I'm not calling the friend, sorry, you're not coming because he didn't behave. So he actually made me see that I was doing a lot of this, of saying things that they probably knew, my kids, that I would never do this. So they were, you know, they were ignoring that because it wasn't really something that they took seriously.
Yeah.
So now I'm trying to find ways of, like, that are not huge, but are actually, but it's hard in the moment, you know, to find the right balance. You want an immediate, and you want a big things to, you know, like, make them, you know,
make them
realize.
sad about it.
Exactly.
That's what I do.
Okay. I would love to hear something that you think is very singular to your family, you know, like something that you cultivate in this family, or that you nurture in this family, and that you intentionally decided to do different than most of your friends or most of the people in Hong Kong where you live, and why. And you might have different answers. I'm fine with hearing you too.
I can think of one right now. Is that in Hong Kong we're very lucky. Most of the families, we have a domestic helper staying with us, helping us with chores and, you know, kids and stuff like that. And most of the family, they would even take the helper out if they're going to a restaurant for dinner, and they would have a helper help them with, taking care of the kids, so the parents can actually enjoy the dinner, and they would bring the helper to outings as well, just everywhere. Okay,
even on trips.
Even on trips, yes.
Yeah.
Even if they go on holiday. But
So for restaurant, I don't understand, or my brain is having a hard time understanding why is the helper coming to the restaurant instead of taking care of the kids at home, and you two enjoying a dinner.
As in the whole family go out for dinner with the kids.
Okay. Yeah.
They would also take the helper out, so they want to spend time outside of their home to have dinner outside, but they also don't want to spend so much time on taking care of the kids during dinner. They want to avoid the chaos, so they want to help it there.
Okay.
But I insisted on day one, even when my kids were like newborn, I would not, like as much as possible, I would not take my domestic helper out to meal times or any other outside of the house, basically, unless I really need them for logistics. Like I can't come back with the kids together, then I need my helper to take them home, something like that. But otherwise, no domestic helpers.
Okay.
That's mainly because I want to bond with my whole family and not have my helper there to kind of make the situation a little bit awkward.
And this is very different from what you can see among other Hong Kong families?
Yes, I think so.
I think in general, we see two big categories of parenting styles. One is we spend a lot of time with the kids. Time and that bond are the most important thing. One other type is more, now we have kids. Let's think about how to make them adults and give them the achievement they want. So that's why in Hong Kong, right, it's a very developed but also very resourceful city. So if you don't want to spend time with your kids, but you want them to do really well, what would you do? You would not pick up a book and read with them at home. You would look at what classes you can sign up, and then as you said, send the domestic helper to send them to the class. So you can do your own stuff. So I think it's a very two different mindset. Again, we are lucky because we work flexibly, but some parents here, both of them work. So of course, it's very hard for them to do what we do. So again, no right or wrong, but this is just observation of two very different styles.
Absolutely.
Okay. I see. What would be something that most people do, a mainstream consensus about education that you would agree with?
Consensus, that means majority of people are doing it and we agree with it.
I think for education, because Hong Kong, homeschooling is not really an option. It's like a rare, I think it's very, very rare that someone would do homeschooling. So I think the mainstream would be going to school. And I definitely agree on that, because I've never experienced homeschooling myself, so I don't know how that system works. But I think at a school, like in a school kind of environment, you're not just learning academic knowledge, you're also learning how to interact with your friends, kind of social skills and stuff. So I think that is the mainstream, and I totally agree on that in Hong Kong.
Why isn't it popular in Hong Kong? Is there a specific reason?
I think there are so many reasons. Top of mind is time. Like everyone's so busy here. Just today, I was thinking about how to upgrade my daughter's role-playing activity, because I want them to do something more meaningful instead of just like random role play. And I realized I need to sit down for like half an hour to figure that out. So most people don't have that time. That's number one. Number two is actually hard to do it. I don't know how you do it in the US, but here, if you want to homeschool, you need to apply for a license. You need to get approval to homeschool, not just sign up for any schools. So I don't know how other countries work, but these are the two top of mind.
Meaning you need to have an educational background somehow, or to take classes to be able to...
I did not look into it,
Okay.
but you would have to apply to the government. The government kind of for you to educate your child, because they provide 9 years, is it still 9 years? Or 12 years? I have no idea, of free education. So if you want to just go to a school, it doesn't have to be a private school. You can just do it for free. So most people would opt for that option, I think.
Yeah, because homeschooling your kid means that one of the parents, if not two parents, have to step down from a career and money coming in to take care of their children. So if you're, there's also some stress related to bringing money, I guess, in a city where everything is pretty expensive. I don't know Hong Kong much, but I've heard enough to, I think, imagine that it's a bit like Singapore, where pretty much everything is expensive. Okay. All right. Would you add anything to that, Kevon?
Yeah, I actually cannot think of much in this sense. It's because we often think that we have a pretty different take on how we nurture our kids. We're kind of doing a semi-homeschooling in the sense of we're kind of doing this semi-homeschooling as well as attending the school system.
Yeah.
And it's just because we love doing this so much. Like you give us $50 billion and maybe we'll still be doing this. Like I cannot say we have a lot of things we're in common with the consensus. I don't know. Am I being naive right now? I don't know.
Okay, talking about schools then. You mentioned public school, private school. I've heard as well from my conversation with Franco and Karina that there's a big pressure on parents in Hong Kong to perform at school, and that tuition additional classes like the one that you're giving, Lydia, are really popular among Hong Kong kids. So you might already have chosen for Avery, the eldest one, right?
Yeah.
So what are you envisioning? What do you want for your kids? Do you already know? And what does it look like, the school systems for them?
You can go.
Okay, so it's mainly from my past experience. I studied at a very happy school when I was in my primary. It was in an area where it's right by the sea. So it's a very big campus. It's one of the biggest for like private local school. So I really enjoyed my years of education there. So I really want to send my girls there as well. And I think why I would want them to go to that school is because it is kind of in the middle of a local school and an international school. So I think it has like 16 native English teachers inside of the school, but it's still following the local school system. So I think the kids can develop very good Chinese as well as English. And I really like a school where language is very important to it. And I feel like this school, the one that I really want them to get into, is one of those. And I want them to not be super stressed about like academic results and stuff. I mean, it's still a very good, strong academically. It's still a very strong school. But I don't think it's as stressful as some of the other top schools in Hong Kong. So that's the one that I really want them to get into.
So they're not enrolled yet?
No. Avery will need to enroll at the end of this year.
And how challenging is it to enroll her in that school?
It is a very popular school. But given that I'm an alumni, I would have a little bit of extra credit for her. But I think I'm still building her portfolio to be quite impressive. I mean, I don't need it to be perfect, but I need her to be a bit like outgoing, and she's well-rounded and things like that.
Okay, so what does a portfolio mean? I'm very curious. Like, is it like a resume somehow? Like
what I meant. Okay, there are two. When I said portfolio, I meant like, there are two types. One is a physical portfolio that I really need to submit to the school to see, for them to do a kind of screening to see if she's good enough to be interviewed. But another portfolio that I was thinking about is actually like what she has achieved and, how she is, how well she's developed and things like that.
All right. So if I just summarize what you said, on top of liking the location facing the sea, which I guess for kids as well, like having outdoors, what you really value in that school is being well equipped in terms of learning both Chinese and English, is it? Yeah. Do you want to add anything, Kevon, to that choice?
Yeah, I guess I can also talk about the international school side because she covered a local school. So like looking at myself and what I like, by default, some people might think, oh, Kevon, you would want to send your kids to international school because I'm all about like, doing projects, play-based learning, do more things like coding or like don't memorize so much stuff. Because in people's mind, we generalize local school and international school. Like local school to me would be like memorizing a lot of things, including history and useless stuff. But international school is like, oh, so much fun, so relaxed. These kids, they're very confident. They can come out and speak like a CEO. So like, what kind of kids do you want? Ideally, I would want to send them to international school, but I trust my wife. So like, I think finding a school that is right between the two is really the perfect case, because to me, a happy school is not really a good thing for kids. If it's all chill and relaxed, just playing, I don't like that. Sometimes I feel like you do need to give some tension and the right kind of pressure to help these kids excel. I believe in that. So if you just like let go of them and let them do whatever, I don't think they would become as good as they can be. I trust my wife on this one.
Yeah, it's that because I also teach a lot of international school kids and I also teach local school kids, and I came from a local school. So the reason why I'm teaching a lot of international school kids is because the parents think that they're not learning enough at the school. And I think academically, because international schools, they tend to encourage like creativity and, your skills to solve problems and stuff like that. But I think realistically, we still need to deal with some kind of public exams in the future, and you need to tackle assessments somehow. So I think to be in an international school, that kind of environment might not be enough to gear them for future challenges. Yeah, and I think it's, from what I see from international school students, they are because they don't have homework at all for the younger ones, and they don't have assessment at all. So, but it doesn't mean that in the future, like when they're teenagers, they don't need to go to a public exam. They still need to do that, like GCSE, A-level, IB, something like that, right? So during those few years, there is a year that they would have to transition into that kind of system. And it's a big challenge for them because they've never done something like that. And now some of my students, they're getting into that, and then they were like, I have homework for every subject every day. It's crazy. So I don't want my kid to have to do that.
Okay, just to clarify a little bit for me and the people who are listening to you and might not know the Hong Kong system really well, what goes behind international school and what goes behind local school? Are local schools all public, or do you have private and public local schools?
There are private
and how would you define an international schools? What exactly is behind this?
Oh, this is a very difficult question. International schools, their curriculum, I actually don't know if they have to follow the government set out curriculum or they have their own curriculum for themselves. But international schools, they don't focus on Chinese. It might be like a foreign language to the students. It might be like them learning French or like German.
So like le lycée français, for example, which is like French, I guess there's one in Hong Kong as well, the French school. French international schools. But I guess in those schools, they're following the French program. And so they might have homework as well, most probably. Like every French school, every public French school, public and private school does in France. Like they
even
have
the younger kids, like 6 or 7 years old, do they have?
Oh yeah, in France, public schools, public and private schools most of them would have homeworks, which so bring homeworks at home, like even starting at 6 years old, like in like primary school. So that's why I was wondering, because then you have alternative schools, which are private schools but that are not subsidized by the government, who they're like Montessori schools, for example. They can follow some principles, like education principles, and they will not give kids any homework, for example. And they have a very different approach to how to teach, children and this kind of things. So that's why I wanted to really understand what goes beyond. So the one you're targeting for your children is a private local school, is it?
Yes,
okay,
correct.
I see. All right. Okay, well, just to understand a bit the landscape of schools in Hong Kong, because I'm really not familiar. And I think it's good to picture yourself speaking among the possibilities and the options of all this.
Yeah.
And you said, Kevon, earlier that you are semi-homeschooling your girls by spending a lot of time actually being super thoughtful about education. You, Lydia, bringing play into learning math and these kind of things. Would you consider going full-time homeschooling at some point? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, no. There's so many reasons. I can start with one. Well, we still want our career. Like I know homeschooling doesn't mean like completely giving up your career, but then, yeah, for us, we love our kids. We love teaching them, but we cannot stay with them 24 hours. So sometimes like we send them to school for 3 hours now. It's kind of taking a break from having to like taking care of them. So that's a big one, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's too much pressure if we are the sole educator in their lives. I mean, I would want to continue doing what we're doing right now. They go to school, but outside of school, I still try to find more chances to teach them stuff that is outside of the school curriculum, to hopefully that they're a little bit more advanced than the other kids in their age. That's what I want to do. But to be the only teachers for them, I think that's a bit much.
And I think because we don't have the environment here for such thing. Like in the US, wow, I heard like 6 or 8 million families are homeschoolers. So they're so easy to get into a community and share that effort. But here, we'll be the lone wolf, and I don't think we'll like it very much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, being alone and not having support on such a tremendous job and responsibility can be kind of daunting. Okay, so what is one trait that you would like to pass on to your children? If you could nurture one trait, and with that trait they would be, they would have a good life according to you, what would that be?
You want to go first?
Sure, yeah. I think I mentioned it just now. I know what I want, and I always try my best to pursue it. So for example, now I'm trying to get into education and kids learning. I mean, I have some experience here and there about education, but in different angles. So I really need to relearn. So now I'm figuring out okay, what are the first few steps that I need to do? So I want my daughters to be able to know what she wants as well. I don't think that exactly means don't work for a company. You have to be an entrepreneur. No, I don't mean that. It's just that I see so many people when they're 25, 30, 35, they still do certain things because the society default to those things. Oh, everyone's just working for a corporate. Oh, everyone's just switching jobs to make a higher paycheck, to make a higher paycheck. And then they don't think about things outside of that. And outside of that, they would be just fine dining, traveling, all this stuff. I don't like that. To me, pursuing knowledge and figuring out how to step up just within yourself is very important. So as I said, if my daughter tells me, hey, Dad, I really love stability. I just want to work for a company for my whole life. I'll be totally okay because she knows what she wants.
What do you do to make sure that they have this?
I think, yeah, so there's a book called The Anxious Generation. So I think I was talking to people and people tell me this thought comes within the book. So it means that in modern days, parents are very anxious. They like to control. They like to plan it out for the kids. Oh, these are the classes you take. That's why they don't go to the playground. There's no more free play. Everything is scheduled. So I think it's so easy for kids, even for myself. I feel in some ways that when things are planned out for me, and I don't even need to think about it, I don't need to reflect and understand who I am. So to us, it's very important for us to keep asking our daughters question like, why do you like this? Tell me, why are you excited about this but not that? Hey, what would you like to do if you have some free time? Okay, let's do that because that's what you want. I think just assessing her curiosity frequently, but then also guiding her to figure herself out, answer those questions. It's going to change all the time, right? But the part is we don't need definite answer. We just need definite answer for that moment. So I guess, yeah, those are just tiny trainings that we do here and there.
So helping them understand the rationale behind whatever they're excited about, basically. Making sure that they identify and they put words or concepts behind the source of excitement or joy that they're experimenting at one specific time, is it?
What excites you, yeah.
Okay, how about you, Lydia?
I think for me, we actually just talked about this today. I think I want to pass on my toughness to them. I mean, I might be a tiny girl.
They cannot
Doesn't
tell.
mean anything.
Okay, I'm like 5'1".
Hi.
But I think I consider myself quite tough, and I like whenever I decided I need to get this done, I have this get it done like spirit. I mean, I don't need like my husband to help me or to be there with me all the time. So I think I'm quite independent. I think I would really love my girls to be like this as well, because I think girls nowadays, we're getting more and more responsibilities. We cannot always whine about things, and if we're whiny and we're always negative and we cannot get like even a little bit of things done, it's really not healthy for them and they can't get through life. So I really want them to be more tough.
Okay, and how do you do that on a daily basis?
I think most of the time, actually I'm still working on that because Avery is not very tough at the moment from our observation. She's like
Oopsie.
always scared about like very tiny little things, and when she gets hurt she would whine and cry about it to us. And I mean that's normal for kids, but I would want to train her up to be more courageous and brave and stuff like that. So whenever she's scared of something, I would try to make her to face the fear. And I think on one of my husband's Instagram videos, he actually mentioned this story. We were at a playroom before, and she was really scared when the lady was like pumping a balloon and she was making some noise, and she would stop playing. She would just stand there and said, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared, like that. And I actually took her hand and walked over to the lady, and I made her watch what the lady was doing. She was just pumping balloons, like nothing harmful happening right now. And then afterwards, after a few balloons pumped, she was okay. She started playing again. So I think for kids, sometimes parents might want to like bring them out of a situation when they say that they're scared. But I think sometimes if it's not dangerous, obviously, then it's better to help them face the fear, to make them understand that there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, I'm thinking of other situations when it happened on our lives as well. The whining is really like I don't know, it can turn someone very patient into someone really grumpy. And yeah, I find it hard to help the kids stop whining.
They love to whine in front of the mom. Not really to the dads. They love to whine in front of the mom. And that's why we always face this.
Do you think so? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. So you mentioned earlier, Lydia, that you're lucky to have a husband who is a good father as well. And you seem from the conversation that we're having right now that you communicate a lot, the two of you. A question I have for both of you individually is like, what makes a good partner? And how do you nurture this? A good partner meaning a good partner raising children, okay?
Yeah.
I think the lucky part for us is that somehow our values are very aligned. So that's the lucky part because there's nothing we need to do about it. But then outside of luckiness, I think we care so much about communication. So like earlier she was saying, oh, when I'm unhappy or when she's unhappy about something, we don't play games like, oh, I'm not going to talk to you. I'm going to turn off my phone so you cannot find me. We do none of that. Instead, I sent her some text and then she was like, I'm upset this morning. And then we met up for lunch. And the first thing I did was I gave her a hug. And then I start to talk more about things. But the communication part is important to us because we don't get offensive or defensive. We basically just communicate what we see and how we feel. And because it's also our personality, we're lucky. We're both like quite understanding. So it becomes like a very fair and gentle conversation, just both sides expressing themselves, and then we quickly can find alignment. So to me, a great partner is someone who communicates well. And on one of the podcasts, I hear that if you love someone, I think you told me this, if you love someone, you do things for them without expecting a return or like a thank you. You just love them so much, so you do it for them. I think that...
And you feel good about it afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the key part. You feel good. So like in our days raising kids, right? Sometimes you're just so tired. Sometimes you're like, oh my God, I'm so angry at these kids. But the other person would just step up right away, take over the load. I think that helps so much.
Yeah. I think to me, that absolutely is one of them. I mean, I'm very lucky because he is such a great father. He can even take out both kids at the same time by himself, and he can handle everything well. So, for example, on Wednesday, it's a public holiday this week. So I just told him, hey, in the morning, I have 3 classes to teach. I can't take care of the kids. Can you do it? And then he was like, okay, I'll be happy to do something with them in the morning so you can just go work. So I think that's a really good thing as a mom. I mean, yeah, to have such a helpful husband. And also I think another thing that I think is very good is that in front of the kids, we are always on the same side. Whatever I say that they have to do, he will support me, even if he actually doesn't feel the same, but he would at least look the part, and then we would just talk about it behind the doors when we're not with them. Yeah, but I think that's very important as well.
Yeah, I completely relate to that. And recently, we've been a bit worse at this together because, well, for various reasons. But Kev not being here for most of the week for the past few months, when he's here and we have an argument, we don't agree in front of the kids. And I can tell you, you notice the difference that the kids are really, suddenly they're so smart. They look at you and they're like, okay, there's an opportunity to do whatever we want right now because they're arguing. And so, like there's gonna, and it's really...
I was not expecting that.
What you said about, so now we're paying attention again. It's just that our routine got completely shaken. So there are some muscles that we've lost in the process and we need to retrain this because, yeah, it creates so much damage to actually disagree in front of the, not disagree, it's not a problem, it's actually not being supportive of the other parents in front of the kids suddenly creates something, a disconnection within the family. I cannot say otherwise. I agree with you that it's a very important thing to nurture, and even though you're absolutely disagree with what the partner just said, but just poker face and make like, let's talk about it later. All right. So I'm to hear what you're taking from your own education and bringing it to your children's education.
For me, as he said, I'm a very organized person. I'm a planner. Like, I like to have everything planned out. Maybe sometimes way in advance before we do it. Yeah. So I think I want my kids to have that trait. But I also feel like because of that trait, I'm not a very creative person. I think mostly inside of the box. So I think I would want to avoid them from having this as well. So I have no idea how, but I would love for myself to find a way to get them to be organized and to plan things ahead, but still be creative.
Okay. How about you, Kevin?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with that. I went to local school here until 15. Then I went to the States for a boarding school and then college. So I feel like the system here or the culture here really just shape us into this little box, not knowing how to be creative. One example would be you played the piano when you were a kid, right? I played the violin, but our main focus was the exam. But now I look at some of friends from UK or US or whatever in the world, sometimes they just pick up this musical instrument and just play for fun. And I'm like, wow,
how do you do that?
That's amazing. Like, you play music for fun? I've never seen this in my entire childhood.
Can this be fun?
So that is quite shocking. But for me, I actually mentioned that earlier, like that little tension or little pressure is good for the kids. When I reflected about my childhood or my education, my mom kept telling everyone that she's happy with 60 out of 100. Even on our wedding day, she went up the stage and be like, yeah, Kevon can just be 60 out of 100 and I'm happy. Well, I get her though. Like, she's not educated herself. And my dad passed away when I was 10. So she didn't want to give us too much pressure. So she didn't give us high expectation as well. But to me, I gave up very easily because maybe growing up, there wasn't someone just like encouraging me or like kind of pushing me to finish that thing. So like when I went to boarding school in the States, I would try out for soccer for one day. And then I was like, oh my God, so much running. I quit. So I think getting into my adult life, I get better because I have more experiences. But when I was like before 18 or before 22 years old, I was that kid who just gives up very easily. Yeah.
My mom was completely opposite from my mother-in-law. Like, mother-in-law would say 60 is okay. But my mom was like, I remember I went into a dictation, like a spelling test. Normally it's 100 mark, right? And then I made one mistake and I got 97. And then I came home and my mom was not happy. She was like, why did you make that mistake? And then I was like, Mom, I got 97. But yeah.
Well, yeah, you need to find a balance, like pushing you, not pushing you. It's hard as a parent, I think, like to find the right, when is a kid actually afraid of trying versus when is a kid like absolutely not enjoying what he's doing. And we've had that with our eldest like recently because it's the first extracurricular that he's doing. He's 6.5 and this year he's studying capoeira. You know, it's martial arts and dance and music from Brazil. It's very interesting because it's very complete. There's a lot of skills involved. And he was fighting against going to the first lesson, mainly because he was afraid of a whole new setup, you know, like a new teacher, new kids, a new environment. He didn't know anything about capoeira, so he was very intimidated. And he went to the class, he did the class and really enjoyed his time. I was there, I was sitting in the room and he really enjoyed. He was like fully present and doing it. And after the class, he came and was like, it was so great. And so cool. So I enrolled him. And the following week, just before going, he was like, why did you enroll me to capoeira? I don't want to go. I hate this. And he started shouting and screaming. And it was really a big crisis. Like he was crying and telling me I had no right to enroll him if he didn't want to. And so after a bit of time, I understood his feeling. And I was like, we should try a second time. Because when you went out, you actually liked it. I saw your face and you told me you liked it. And so he went the second time. Again, he liked it. And the third time, it was the same, but a little less crisis. And then the fourth time, a little bit less. And coming back to our point, I could have said, okay, it's not for you. And I wasn't sure when I pushed for the second time. I wasn't sure if I was doing a mistake. It's hard to see and to feel that, you're encouraging, but not pushing too hard either to really make him, like hate whatever he's learning, I guess. And I don't know about Hong Kong, but in France it's very classical, the way you teach music. To your point, Kevin, I think I saw a post online where you talked about your girl learning piano, and that's they started by asking her, which song do you want to play? And so to get her interest, right?
Yeah.
And then from that, okay, let's play around that music. And then the kids is obviously being Frozen or whatever Disney, music, but they're suddenly into the learning. Okay, Kevin, I have a question now. To understand Public Lab, why did you start sharing openly? And why did you start this project in the first place?
It was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I was having a career transition. Like I was running a software company, but then I stopped. So I was free. And then our first daughter was coming really soon. So I thought, okay, I would spend a few months just like spending time with Lydia, helping out with the newborn and stuff. But then I cannot do nothing. So with all that free time, I started reading online, and I started seeing how all these amazing people, they can get fans and they can get people to resonate with them and also interact with them online just by sharing their thinking process or like points of view. So I thought, whoa, that's amazing. Like I worked really hard for my career. How come I didn't have this? How come I'm still a nobody once I stopped working on that project? So I started writing online, and I didn't know what to do. It's like right now, with this new path, I didn't know where I was going, but I thought I would just start talking about it. Like the video you saw with me talking about how we approach music, it was just whatever I was thinking at that moment. So, and then I just keep figuring out the next step, and it became Public Lab, where I run courses and teach people. Yeah.
And so at the time, what were you sharing about? Was it more the professional journey or even your journey as a dad? Yeah.
So I was very cautious or intentional about that process. In the beginning, I was writing about whatever comes to mind. Usually it's around entrepreneurship, because I was running a software company before. So I had a lot of failures, and I'm not afraid of sharing them. So I just thought, okay, I will write when I feel like that topic is right. But then what I do is I went back to the first 8 weeks and I analyzed those 8 posts, and I try to find clues about what I genuinely like to share. And it's all about entrepreneurship. So that was my first signal. But then after 2 months, I started talking about building in public. And long story short, I saw a lot of people doing it on Twitter, now X. But when I did a quick Google search, no one was mentoring or guiding or teaching people about it. So I was like, this is my chance. So I started building a free ebook around building in public, and a lot of people loved it. Thousands of people read it in the first few days. And with this audience, I need to do something for them. So I started running real courses to help them. So, yeah.
And what are your biggest lessons from this whole journey building in public?
Oh, I would say this is more on the business side, but we're all building projects, right? NewKid.ai is your project. So the power today is really personal branding. Projects come and go. It can last like 4 or 5 years, but you don't come and go. So when you share about your project, but at the same time share it from your own voice, it's so powerful, because you get people next to you, and then you can go on for different projects and they're still there, and it'll be much easier to test new ideas. So like even for my wife, Lydia, most of her work is inside the classroom. Yeah. But I always here and there encourage her, hey, this would be amazing if you just put it out and shape yourself as this educator, mother. Eventually, something would hit you and be like, oh, this is something that I'm excited about too. Let's do it. you don't know where personal brand go, but it's so powerful. Yeah.
Is it where you guys are heading to with this new project of yours making videos? Now I need to ask you.
Yeah. I mean, I've been building in public and building my personal brand for 5 years now. In the beginning, it was all writing and Twitter. It's just short posts. But now I figure if I want to connect with these parents, mostly moms, video on Instagram is probably the best way to reach them. So that's why I switch my format. But it's also fun for me to try out a new format just to be energized about this new thing I'm doing, because I got tired about the last chapter a little bit already.
Okay. When you say for the next project you're targeting moms, are you talking about friendships, or are you talking about like this whole education and AI kind of things? Exploration.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't know yet.
You don't know yet.
but one thing I've been learning, I'm taking lots of notes these days. Thanks for introducing me to Mila. I went to her workshop, 4 hours
cool.
this weekend.
Nice.
So like one thing I found out about all this that we're talking about is education, psychology, parenting. They're all different topics, but at the same time, they're all the same topic. Like they're all connected. So I honestly don't know where I want to focus on and what the product will be. But yeah, I still believe in sharing when I don't know what it is. It's just fun and good to get some small wins along the way to keep me going.
Okay. I think one way you introduce yourself, I'm not sure if it's on Instagram or Substack, is you say gearing up our kids for AI era. So where are you in your journey exploring AI and education? What have been your learning so far? It's probably for the two of you. You might have different paths in.
Yeah, feel free to jump in, Lydia. I guess my biggest learning so far is I would not expose kids under 10 years old to the AI superpower. Like I would not show them, hey, you can write a few lines and then give it to AI and AI will give you like the entire essay. I don't want them to see this because I think they don't have the right skills and judgment to know how to use it right. And even for me, example would be earlier this year, I was helping a crypto founder do marketing. I know nothing about crypto. So for me, I use AI a lot in my work. And when I look at my work, I'm like, this is garbage because it's all AI. Because I don't have the expertise in crypto, but then I'm trying to do something about crypto. And AI cannot help you if you're in that position. So to me, I understand, okay, AI is a tool, but you need your craftsmanship. You need your expertise first. But kids above 10 years old, I think they will be all right to see the superpower. But then brings me to my second point, which is I don't mind using AI to help my kids learn. So like I'm actually building a second project called Chatty Bestie, where Avery has a lot of school interviews coming up, and she's very good at Cantonese and Mandarin, but English because she doesn't practice every day. So with us, sometimes she's like, oh, I don't want to do something with you, Dad, or she's too comfortable and she would say a lot of things. But either way, that doesn't mimic the real situation where a stranger will be
asking you,
chatting with you. So I built this AI where there are two modes. Like one is free chatting with Avery, and one is a bit more like interview questions, just to let her get a sense of how that feel like. So I think using AI to improve fundamental skills is very good. So these are my two biggest learnings.
Okay, in what specific context would Avery use Chatty Bestie to perform what exactly?
Just to have a chat to improve communication in that language.
Okay, so in one specific language.
right now is English because that's her weaker language.
Because you don't speak English at home, I guess.
Not normally.
20%, 80% Cantonese.
And because she knows that we speak Cantonese and Mandarin, and she would refuse to speak
Of course.
English with us sometimes. Yeah.
Of course. Okay, I get that. Why did you build a tool yourself versus using what's available? I've lost the name of this company. It's called Grok, just as, XAI, but Grok toy. Let me just see. Curio.
There's a Grok toy?
Yeah, well, actually, no, it's not related to Grok, the LLM. The name of the toy is Grok, and it's from a company called Curio, like Curiosity. And they have basically, well, anyways, doesn't matter this company, or there will be thousands more. And there's probably one in Hong Kong already providing that. But so basically the idea is giving the kid a toy that is a companion to talk to, like a chatbot talking to your kids. So my question is like, why build it yourself versus outsourcing this to something that's already existing and aiming at kids? Is there a reason?
I think it depends on the objective. If the objective is solely like, have an English speaker to chat with you, then yeah, there are a lot of existing tools out there. But for us, that's just part one. Part two is the interview questions will be in a very specific way. So I want to slip those questions in a conversation and put her in that environment. And I don't think any tool can do that for the interviews that are conducted in Hong Kong. So I think that's one. Number two is I'm a product builder, so it's just really fun.
You can't help.
Huh?
You can't help but do it.
Yeah, it's just fun to build it, but then also see how Avery likes it, and then we tweak it, and then I show her again. I really love to show my daughters like my ability to build. Because that's something that I lack when I was a child. But when you see people build, I hope that she can build as well.
Is she aware that you build it? Are you inviting her to the process as well of building that tool?
Not yet. It's too technical. But I involved her in other projects. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you say helping her with interviews, are you talking about school interviews that are ahead of her? Okay, so it's still a big thing to get into like school if you have like interview questions.
Okay. Actually, Chatty Bestie was, I told him that, at the end of this year, she's going to have to go through the whole school admission process, and then, she will be invited to interviews, and I don't think she is ready for it yet. So this year I would have to spend a lot of effort on that. And then he got the idea. He was like, okay, maybe I could help you with that. Build something to help you out. And then so Chatty Bestie was born.
I see.
Can I tell you one insight I picked up
of course.
With this experiment? If let's say we are practicing this communication with Avery, well, of course she doesn't want to speak English with us sometimes, but also the other thing is, let's say one-on-one, it feels very, what's the word? We are the one asking questions. We are the one giving feedback. They have to listen to us for everything. And that makes us on the opposite side. But when I use Chatty Bestie with Avery, which she's very excited, every day she asks me, hey, can I chat with Chatty Bestie? We are sitting on the same side, and then she's talking to AI, and I'm her facilitator. I'm her mentor now. Oh, but Chatty Bestie is asking you about this. Maybe you can think about this other angle, and then she would talk to Chatty Bestie. So I think that's the new future of education as well. Like, teacher can be a facilitator. We can be on the sideline. So this is very interesting to me. Yeah, something I pick up.
What tools are you building this Chatty Bestie on?
So I use Cursor. So it's like coding with AI. And then the tech stack is like the basic like JavaScript. But then the AI that I picked for this project is actually Google's Gemini. So I want to try out a new AI because I use ChatGPT already for fun sheets.
Okay. And why this one over Claude, for example? who is apparently a bit more personal?
Yeah, so you raise a very good question. In Hong Kong, it's actually very hard to use AI. Like
Why?
ChatGPT, the consumer version, is blocked for us. Like we cannot access it. Even with VPN, if you don't have a credit card,
Oh, Franco mentioned that to me the other time. Yes,
Yeah.
I remember.
it's crazy.
Okay.
So I use my friend's credit card in the US, but because the name is different, they block my account. So yeah,
So you're actually quite limited. You cannot play with anthropic models.
we're very limited. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you've been exploring at the intersection of education and AI with the background that is yours, which is helping people learn. What do you think of Khan Academy? I know you've read the book. What do you think of Canmigo, for example? And what do you think of Alpha Schools? You probably know a bit about what they're doing, which is targeting kids younger than 10 years old and helping them get the academics right, freeing the teacher from the top down, passing on the knowledge to be more of a, what you were saying, a facilitator, a guide, a coach, whatever they're calling it. What do you think about those ways of educating children?
I think I actually spent today looking into Alpha School. I think the biggest thing for us to know is showing the kids AI superpower is what we are not very happy about. But like for Alpha School, right? For my research today, the kid go in, there are no teachers. So the kid go in and they spend 2 hours logging into that system, and the AI will kind of assess their knowledge gap and interest and be like, hey, this is what you need to work on. This is not the same as giving them AI superpower. This is just kind of recommending them what to work on. So like, oh, they would be like, oh, maybe you should learn about math today. Okay, sure, learn about math. But then from the videos that I saw, they recommend if the kid doesn't know, they go Google, they go ask their friends. They have to find the answer themselves, or if they really want a human, there are some guides, not so much teacher, but like guides you can ask. And then for the rest of the day, they do projects. So I think, again, what I'm seeing is that AI is powering the experiences. And to me, I'm quite okay with that, with AI making recommendation about what to do next. It's just that if the kid is using AI to, for example, write the copy of the landing page, like this 6 years old kid don't even need to think about what to put on the landing page of this project. They just like, okay, I'm not so sure about that part. So you can see there are different parts of using AI that I'm happy or unhappy about.
I think to me, I think I'm not saying this is good or not, but I have a big question about this is that I actually had this conversation with Avery. I introduced her to like what AI is and what AI can do for people. But I also told her that I don't think kids her age should be using AI to do a lot of things because AI sometimes could be wrong. And I use AI a lot sometimes. Well, for my work, I create questions for my students, like maths questions and stuff. And then I would go back to read the question and I would say, hey, this is a mistake. This is like a typo, or like they made a calculation mistake. And I had to double check the answer. If kids don't have the knowledge of those academic subjects yet, how do they judge whether the things that AI is giving them is correct or is good quality, right? So my big question is, if these Alpha Academy or whatever like AI school is having no teachers and they're just feeding them with AI knowledge, how do I make sure that they're learning the correct things? Yeah, that's like my big question.
To me, I think we often assume that AI is doing all the teaching, but to be honest, this is no different than Alpha School is creating that environment where a lot of self-driven kids are coming together, and then they're providing a bit of structure of the school day and some guides but then these kids are all accessing the same homeschool materials that a lot of families are using already. So that is a little less scary.
Oh, yeah.
Which to me, I really like Alpha School. I wish I can send my daughters there.
It's not a door to the open wide. It's actually a door to very well-structured academic pool of information. When you say you would love to send your daughter to Alpha School, what's preventing you from doing it?
Oh, I haven't discussed it with Lydia. No. Many reasons. I mean, I often ask Lydia, okay, if there's an AI school or Alpha School in Hong Kong or in Asia, are we ready to send them there? And then we both agree that sometimes it's hard. Like someone as creative as me, I still think, would it be like too early for our kids? Is it ready? It's so new, blah, blah, blah. But I think I'm more the risk taker. I'll be totally happy. But then I need to also align with my wife, right?
Because I don't know. I think I still have a lot of like big questions in my head. I mean, I as a mom, I don't want to send my kids in as like guinea pigs. I mean, it's so not common in Hong Kong that I've never seen someone doing it. So I don't know what they're going to be like and how the education is going to be like. So I think it's too daunting for me.
It's been around for about 10 years. I think we'll have to wrap it up anyways. There's so much I still wanted to ask you, but we're going to stick with, what we just said. What would you recommend as a book or a podcast or a newsletter or anything that has really helped you, that's really helping you and that's really inspiring you?
Yeah, I have one. Newkid.ai.
No, all right. Seriously. Anything else?
But the book that you mentioned, Brave New Words by the founder of Khan Academy, I think it doesn't have a lot of answers in the book, but it opens up a lot of questions and discussion about where we're heading. So, I mean, as educators, you have to read it. As parents, I think it's just nice to see what it will look like in the future. So you don't need to just walk the default path for your kids. Yeah.
I don't think I've read any AI tech related books.
Not necessarily AI. Actually, it could be on, like just the questions that, our conversation was not only about AI, it was more about questioning education. And is there something in particular that you'd like to share on that hand?
Yes, as I said, I'm reading Hope Brainchild right now. And I think that's really helpful in the sense that because the book also mentioned lots of, I read it on Kindle. So anyways, it talks about a lot of things that are on my mind right now, like emotional stuff, psychology, things like that. And it gives you like real life scenarios that how you tackle them. I mean, sometimes you might not be able to really remember the cases, but it's good to have read something to make you feel like, oh, actually, I'm not alone. Yeah, it happens to all the children, and this is actually written in a book, so I can always go back to check how this kind of stuff. So it gives you some comfort, I think. Yeah. Cool.
Anything I didn't? Oh, sorry. Yes, I was showing it as well. I have it here.
But I actually have one more.
Okay, have you read it already?
I think I read half. Half. This is called The Disengaged Teen. Yeah. So I think the main message is we got to keep asking what the kid is interested in. Like they're disengaged because they're not interested in, and to me, tech is a scapegoat for this because the kids are just bored. It's not actually just for teen. I feel like I learn a lot because it has a framework, so I can also apply that to toddlers. Yeah.
You should check the Mackenzie Price, who's the founder of Alpha School. She interviewed Rebecca Winthrop, the author of The Disengaged Teen. So they recently had a conversation together about, all 4 student modes. So I would really recommend on that topic to double down on this. Anything else I didn't ask you and that you wish I had asked you during this podcast?
No, we think,
It's very fruitful.
yeah,
Okay.
great conversation.
Yeah.
Well, I will keep the many more questions I have for another time. Cool. What else? Yeah, just a few words about Worldschooling. What's behind this?
I'm fascinated by the concept of world schooling because you travel and you learn about everything, right? But you can tell probably from this conversation that we are navigating between creative learning and also the school system learning. Like we want to be in both. So it's impossible for us to be traveling full time to learn. But summer is a great time to do this. And to me, the biggest thing I want my girls to have is cultural exchange with people from all parts of the world. Because we live in Hong Kong. We see the same people all the time. If they can interact with kids or parents from Europe, Africa, Southeast Asia, US, everywhere, that would be amazing. I think that is something that education or academic subjects cannot give you.
Coincidentally, today I have a new student. So I met her and I was talking to her. She has a Chinese mainland background. She just came to Hong Kong like 2 years ago. Then we were just talking and I asked her, have you been to any other countries outside of China and Hong Kong? And she said no. And she's 11. And I was actually a bit shocked. I mean, in Hong Kong, most of the kids would have stepped out of Hong Kong like at the age of 2, 3, something like that. And I cannot imagine like a child have not, traveled to another country to see the world. And I asked her why, and she said, I just don't want to. And I asked her, like, is it because your parents don't want to? Like, are you scared or anything? And she said, no, I just don't want to. And then I just cannot understand why. And I just kept encouraging her because I think there are some things that you cannot learn if you just stay here.
Yeah.
And you cannot, and in a social experience perspective, you most of your friends would have gone to some other places or taken a vacation or something. But if you can't talk to them, if they ask you and you just say, hey, I just stayed at home for the whole summer, then it will be a bummer. So I kept encouraging her, if you have the chance, take it. Just go, play. Yeah.
Agree. Thank you so much for your time, both of you. It's been really a very fun experience to learn your quite advanced path on the AI journey and all the questions that you're asking yourself for your girls. So thanks a lot for taking the time. Really means a lot.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for being a good host.
Cheers.